Hi there, my name is Dr. Zita Sashi, aka the Academic Barbie. On today's episode of The Talk with Z, I am going to share 5 cultural shocks I experienced when I moved to Canada. For those who do not know me, I was born and raised in Ghana, West Africa. I lived most of my life in Ghana and I moved to Canada when I was in my mid 20s to pursue a master's degree. So when I got to Canada, I experienced differences in the culture compared to my home nation. So let's get into it. My first cultural shock is dogs in cars. Like, I was so shocked when I saw people putting their dogs in their car, like they're driving around with their dogs in their car. I was so shocked, especially during the winter when I'm waiting to catch the bus and I see dogs in a car. I'm like, are you kidding? Why don't you give me a ride? But hey, guys, don't do it. Don't get into random cars just for a lift. We don't do that here, okay? But I'm just saying, that was like so different and it was a shock. But I was educated that in this part of the world, pets are perceived as family members, okay? So people love their pets and treat them as family members. For some people, even their dogs sleep in the same bed with them, and for others, it is cool to drive around with them. So that was a cultural shock. Back home in Ghana, stuff like that do not happen, and I'm just saying it was culturally different. The second cultural shock is coffee intake. Oh my god, Canadians can drink coffee. Coffee is equal to survival in Canada. I'm not even joking. According to the 2019 Canadian Coffee Consumption Report, Canada ranked as number 10 when they looked at countries where coffee consumption was high. Seriously, Canada was ranking at number 10. The United States, our neighbors, rank at number 26 and the UK 45. This is to tell you Canadians drink a lot of coffee. According to the same report, 2 out of 3 Canadians drink coffee. And when you look at it from the perspective of gender, men tend to drink 3 cups on the average and women tend to drink 2.4 cups daily. So this is just to tell you people drink a lot of coffee. And when we say coffee, the traditional coffee. I hopped on the coffee wagon when I was a graduate student because believe me, coffee does give you a lot of energy and wakes you up. That is for sure. But when I drink coffee, I tend to stay up, I can't sleep, and I get heart palpitations. So for me, it was difficult to continue drinking coffee after graduate school. But hey, when you come to Canada, coffee breaks and people drinking coffee is so regular. Like it's something people do every day. And to me, that is a culture shock. In Ghana, people hardly drink coffee. The group that drinks coffee are usually the elitist group that lived in the diaspora and are now back home and are used to drinking coffee. It is difficult for you to find a coffee shop in Ghana. It is not part of our culture or our norm. What we do in Ghana when we wake up is we either drink porridge or what we call tea. When a Ghanaian says I'm drinking tea, simply means I'm taking cocoa powder, aka hot chocolate, in the North American context. So that is what we take in Ghana. So it was culturally different for me to come here and realize people drink coffee for a living here. Like people virtually drink coffee to survive and get through their day. That was a cultural shock. So let's keep moving forward. The next cultural shock, which I think is a good thing, is holding doors for people. When I got into Canada and I was getting an orientation at the university I was going to study in, the students at the time who were giving me the orientation told me, oh, you remember when you're coming through the doors, you need to hold a door for the next person, especially if someone is directly behind you, you need to hold the door for them. So this is different in Ghana because in Ghana, look, the hustle is real. People are hustling, people are going through their day-to-day activities in our capital city in Accra. Nobody has time to hold a door for anybody. When someone holds a door for you in Ghana, sis, girl, he is trying to hit on you, and it's usually a man. He's trying to hit on you and get your number because on a regular day, People are hustling and bustling and trying to get to their offices and get to do their daily work. So people hardly hold doors for people. But here in Canada, holding doors for people is like a sign of courtesy, and everybody does that. It is part of our daily routine. So you hold the door for another person who is coming right behind you. And that is something we do in Canada. And I think that is a good thing though. So yeah, culture shock, but a good one. So let us keep that going. The other culture shock I got was going Dutch. Look, guys, in Canada, if someone invites you out on a date, please take money or your bank card, because do not expect them to cover the bill. Here, when people invite you out, it means pay for your food. Let me pay for my food, but we can still have a good time. That is what it means. Yes, it's very radically different from what we experience in Ghana and other African countries. Look, 3 months into my stay in Canada, I was invited to a dinner party. Okay, so one of the classes I was taking, there was this guy who sits next to me a lot. He had his birthday, so his friends were organizing like a dinner celebration in a restaurant, and they were like, "Oh, he likes you. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure. Why not? I mean, it's a dinner. Who doesn't like free food?" I went there and we had dinner. We had such a good time. And after the dinner, everybody started chipping in to cover the bill. I am like, whoa. Nobody told me that. Nobody said it's going to be a collective payment. So I had my bank card in my purse because I was going to call a cab home. So I quickly went to the restaurant lobby, got to the ATM, withdrew some money, and chipped in. Like, guys, I would have been so embarrassed. I would have been so embarrassed because I did not know that was the culture here. So that was like my teachable and learning moment. I realized that if somebody asks you out, even for a coffee date, sis, take your card. Don't expect him to cover it. Lesson learned. However, things are different in Ghana and many African countries. In Ghana, men pay for everything. A man is expected to pay, period. It is not up for negotiation. And in Ghana and many other African countries, if a man asks you out and you, a woman, choose to pay for the date, it is like an insult. It is like a disrespect to him. So men pay for everything, which I like, because those of you who want to pull the gender card, let me tell you, we are still living in a man's world. When you look at the gender gap in wage, look, men earn more than women doing the same job. They earn more compared to us doing the same job. So why not? You ask me out, you pay. On this particular one, I am going with the Ghanaian and the African way. The men must pay, period. You ask me out, I am African. The men in my culture, they pay. Don't tell me I'm a doctor and I have money and I can pay. Nope. You pay because you are the man and you asked me out. So with this particular one, I am Team Ghana and Team Africa. It is good here. We get to go Dutch, but hey, I am going with the Ghanaian and the African way on this particular one. Take me out and pay for the date, period. All right, let's keep it moving and let's wrap up. The final culture shock is racism. I was born in a country where everyone is black. So I did not have to live and walk around thinking I am different. Everybody is black in Ghana, so I do not have to consciously worry about being different. But when I came to Canada, I quickly had to learn that I am different. That when I step out of my house and I go to the university or at the mall or even at the airport, I am different and I am seen as a black woman. That is something that I had to learn really fast. I remember one particular incident that gave me the aha moment. I got on the bus and I was on my way to the university. So when I got on the bus, I usually sit at the back, because the front section is mainly for the elderly and women with kids that have strollers. And so I was going to the back and there was this white dude. He was sitting on the window seat. When he saw me coming to the back, he moved to the aisle seat. So I was not even going to sit next to him. So I went to the back and I sat on an empty seat. When the bus kept moving and we got to the next stop, 3 white girls were getting on board. And when he saw that they were coming to his direction, he moved back from the aisle seat to the window seat. That is when I realized that, wow, he did not want me to sit next to him because of my skin color. It is very sad, and it is very difficult, but in this part of the world, people look at you and they judge you simply because of your skin tone. They do not know you. I'm a good person. I do not smoke, like I don't do anything. I am never in any form of trouble. I believe I am a law-abiding citizen, but those things do not count. People simply look at you and they put you in a box, which is called your skin color. It is important to mention that Black people who were born in Canada, in America, or in Europe grew up understanding that they are different. But when you are African and you are in your 20s and you immigrate to a country that has diversity, it is difficult for you to make that mental adjustment. So it is important. Africans living in this part of the world interpret things differently compared to Black people who were born here. Anyway, these are my 5 cultural shocks. What are your experiences? Please share them with me if you have any. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Support me. Follow me on other social media platforms. The links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Share my content with your friends and family and anybody who wants to laugh. I will see you soon on another episode. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Cheers and bye.